All right, let's move back to the NFC where my New York Giants.
There they are.
Where my New York Giants will take on the Atlanta Falcons. Tad, start us off here. One key matchup for the Falcons offense.
And this comes down to Matt Ryan versus the Giants pass rush. I mean, that's kind of obvious. Giants pass rush third in the NFL in sacks. They kind of came on late in the season. I think what the Falcons need to do is they need to run the ball quite a bit and throw a lot of short passes just to get the Giants to start playing the run. When that happens, that's when you attack them deep. So you got to start the game keeping the Giants honest and not letting them hit Matt Ryan in the early stages of this game.
And what about the receivers? How do you think they're gonna work against that sort of blown secondary of the Giants?
Let me tell you about these, and I think the Giants secondary is getting healthier and better every single week. They played pretty well against the Dallas Cowboys. That's who they're called. I've already forgot about them. They've already left my mind.
Just like the rest of America.
So let me tell you about these receivers here. Roddy White, first 10 games, he had one 100-yard game and 3 touchdowns. In the last 6 games, 300-yard games, 5 touchdowns. Julio Jones had over half of his 959 receiving yards and 6 of his 8 touchdowns in his last 8 games. So both of these guys really coming on as we're shifting from this passing offense from the former run offense. Michael Turner, his 301 carries, this is his 4th year in Atlanta, 301 carries is the least he's ever had in a season where he's played all 16 games. Last year, of course, he only played 11 getting hurt, but he's getting those carries down, so he's going to be fresher going into the playoffs. This team is as balanced as there is in the NFL. That being said, I don't want them to, or I don't think they should, attack. Listen, I got no rooting interest in this game. But I don't think they should attack deep balls against the Giants to start off this game and let that pass rush hit Matt Ryan to start this game, because Matt Ryan hasn't been a good playoff quarterback so far. Getting hit a couple times early, that won't help his confidence.
Yeah, Michael Turner actually, it's funny because we were talking about whenever it was, week 6 or 7 or so, when the Falcons started to turn it around because they started giving Michael Turner the ball more. And remember, we were all saying that they were starting to figure it out. He was going to be the pulse of their offense, and Ryan was going to work in the play-action pass more, and finally they were going to, figure out how these new pieces were going to work in the offense, get back to basics. Michael Turner is averaging 56 yards a game, 3.3 yards per carry. He is the opposite of hot. He is ice cold right now.
That's including the 176 yards he had against who'd they play in the last week, Adam?
My hapless Tampa Bay Bucks.
And he took Raheem Morris with him, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I mean, that Bucks defense is the worst in the league.
Yeah,
but
it could be.
Yeah,
not named New England.
It's gonna be a big deal. So A-Roz, how about the Giants D?
The biggest matchup I looked at, not just with Michael Turner, Giants have 5 defensive backs on injured reserve. 5.
It's a lot.
That was ridiculous. And having 3 receivers, not just Roddy White and Julio Jones. Who can forget about the future Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez through the middle? That's 3 guys, each of them averaging about 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns between them. So how are you going to stop 3 key guys like that? It's going to come down to their pass rush, of course. But they're probably not going to be able to double team all of them. They might have to pick one guy. Corey Webster can only take out one of these receivers. Their linebackers and their nickelbacks are going to have to really step up in this game. Prince Amukamara is going to have to, and now that he's healthy and back for New York, is really going to have to step up to guard one of these all-pro targets for Matt Ryan. So that's a real key to look out for, because you got to keep note too, Atlanta's a team that loves to play ahead, and as much as they're going to try to establish Michael Turner, they love to go deep with all 3 of these guys. So New York, how they play with the secondary, especially with their safeties, with Aaron Ross and company, how are they going to try to take that away from Atlanta's offense?
Let's stay with you, actually, A-Roz, and we'll just flip sides over to Eli and that Giants offense. What are the keys there?
I think the biggest thing has been their one huge, besides Eli having arguably his best year as a pro, the Giants' one saving grace this year, a guy who was an undrafted free agent coming out of the University of Massachusetts, didn't play a snap last year. I'm talking about Victor Cruz. If you saw his 99-yard touchdown reception against the Jets, what he did against Dallas last week, this guy has had a phenomenal season. Having the Giants receiving record, this guy is their fastest receiver. He's been a better target than Hakeem Nicks. And all Atlanta has to guard him is two average to below average corners, as much as Atlanta fans are going to disagree with me, but they're wrong if you look at their eye test. Eric Weems, Dante Robinson doesn't scare me or shouldn't even scare Victor Cruz, because I think they're going to have Victor Cruz is going to have a huge, huge game this week, and I don't think what Atlanta's going to throw at them is going to stop Victor Cruz. He is their game changer on offense. And Eli Manning avoiding that rush will buy time for Victor Cruz to get open.
We're going to be seeing some of this.
Yeah.
Little salsa dancing? Little salsa?
Adam forgot about one player in the defensive backfield. His name is Brett Grimes. They used last week to rest his knee so that he would be ready for this game. He is their best defensive back, and I think that's the matchup that the Falcons have to focus on. Brett Grimes against your man, Victor Cruz.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if he lines up with Hakeem Nicks most of the game.
I think
because I think he's still the number one target when defensive coordinators are planning against the Giants. I haven't seen the shift yet.
Either way, I think that Victor Cruz is the most dangerous weapon on the Giants, and he's proven that over the past couple weeks. So Brett Grimes, I think what Brett Grimes is really good at jumping routes and getting interceptions. I think what Grimes and whoever is guarding Victor Cruz has to do is resist the urge to try to jump a route and focus on wrapping and tackling Victor Cruz. You talk about those two big plays he had. 99 yards against the Jets on a 12-yard pass. 78 yards against the Cowboys on an 8-yard pass. Wrap him. Let him catch the ball. Wrap him. Take away his run after the catch. That's what the Falcons have to do. Victor Cruz, run after the catch, 0 yards. See if they can do that, and that's going to be their key to stopping the Giants.
Do you think you're going to see a little bit more zone so they'll be able to stop that easier? That obviously lends itself to limiting yards after a catch.
No, man's fine as long as there's safety help over the top, and be very disciplined and not take those chances. Concentrate on wrapping and tackling.
And that's what happened if you look at those two big plays in the Dallas game and that 99-yard touchdown. Antonio Cromartie tried to jump that route. He ended up missing the tackle. The rest was history. That's what you point out. That's the biggest thing, because as good as a receiver as Cruz is, and even he's got some great vertical leap as well, he will snatch the ball out of the air before a defensive back can. But staying disciplined is the biggest key to stopping him, because he can burn you in more ways than one, and especially after the catch.
And I know you touched on it a little, but we'll, go to the defensive matchup for the Falcons. What do they need to do on defense? And especially, I'm wondering if you think they're going to be able to stop Bradshaw and Jacobs. They've got a pretty good run defense.
Yeah, they have a pretty good run defense. I think they could be okay with that, because Bradshaw and Jacobs have been decent lately, but the Giants, one of the worst run offenses in the league. So I think that doesn't really have to be their focus. I think stopping the run after the catch. That's pretty much what Atlanta has to do in this game. Stop the run after the catch by the receivers.
I do feel like it could be a bit of a problem if you game plan to just say, oh, well, we don't need to worry about the Giants' running attack. It is possible that could be a problem because stats can lie a little bit. Ahmad Bradshaw was basically out this entire year pretty much. So it was just Jacobs and DJ Ware, and Bradshaw's back, and he's working his way towards 100%. There's a good possibility that they could drop some bombs on you. So it's tough to just put all of your eggs in the secondary basket.
Still, it's about tackling in the secondary, and it's about just staying, if they gash you for 8 yards here, 9 yards there, 10 yards here, same thing in the passing game, 15 yards here. You don't want that 70-yard or 50-yard play. And that's where the Giants have really been putting people away, is with the huge play. I think Atlanta knows they can score against the Giants. I think the Giants know they can score against Atlanta. So just trying to keep that big play away and maybe forcing a 3-and-out and a punt as opposed to a touchdown from 50 yards out. That's what both teams are trying to avoid.
I think what's interesting is the deep ball has been such a big threat for the Giants. It's one of the ways that they've been winning when they've won this year, which is just about 9 times. Really, I think a lot of it is going to come down to that Giants offensive line. We saw it play very well against Dallas. I know we watched that game together and we commented a few times, wow, Eli has tons of time in the pocket. And that's the big thing, too, because we have to remember that offensive line doesn't just prevent sacks, but it also gives Eli more time in the pocket for the deep balls. Because those deep balls don't happen otherwise. And you don't use, Cruz and Nix are those kind of guys. They both are those kind of guys. And otherwise, you've got a little bit of a tougher game for a short passing game. That's just not what they do well right now, especially without, and I'm forgetting their starting tight end's name for some reason.
Ballard is out.
And so they're going to lose a little bit of that, although we saw some pretty good tight end play last week.
From Bear Pasco.
Yeah, he was jumping over dudes, no big deal. So we'll see how that works out. But really, the Giants' offensive line needs to give Eli the time to make the deep threat passing. Well, A-Roz, who's going to win?
I look at Atlanta. They're an average road team, and they're even worse outdoors. Matt Ryan has not won a playoff game, and I just think Atlanta's a team that's built to stay ahead, and I don't think they're going to do that. I think the Giants are going to win this game. Their pass rush is going to be way too much for Matt Ryan and this offensive line, and I think Victor Cruz is going to kill this secondary. Giants are going to win this one by 10, and I think their streak, they're just starting to get really, really hot. Look out for this Giants team deeper in the playoffs. Giants win.
Dad?
I'll take the veteran Super Bowl winning quarterback over the one who hasn't won a playoff game in his career. Until Matt Ryan's able to win that one, I'm going to have a hard time trusting him in the playoffs, especially going on the road to Giants Stadium. I'm going to take Eli and the Giants.
I'm going to take the Giants too. This isn't completely tough for me. Michael Turner's struggling, that's true, although he's coming off of a great game. In general, the Falcons are red hot. They're coming off that game in Jacksonville. Remember that game in Jacksonville? I know it's
Tampa,
Jacksonville.
great,
Well, Jacksonville's defense is far better than Tampa's defense. Far, far, far better. I don't have the numbers
you got to wonder if a team's mailed it in at some point, too.
I know. I'm just saying, Ryan's been throwing for over 300 yards. He's been getting pulled in the third and fourth quarter. I mean, they're blowing teams out right now. Not great teams, but they're blowing teams out. Also, we haven't mentioned Osi Umenyiora, who I think was the catalyst to make that defensive line so good on New York. I mean, Tuck and Pierre-Paul have been there for a few weeks together. Obviously, Pierre-Paul's been there the whole season. Tuck has been in and out.
16.5 sacks for Jason Pierre-Paul this year.
Beast.
And a game-winning blocked field goal.
Absolutely. And now you have Osi in there, and they're playing them all together. Osi's classically a defensive end. They're playing them all together. So it's a 4-3. You've got Osi, Tuck, and Paul as 3 of your 4 linemen, along with Canty, who's also playing pretty well. That's fantastic. I mean, and with all of them there doing what they're doing, that's a lot to deal with. So I'm going to take the Giants in a game that I don't feel amazing about. I think this one could be like 31-27. I mean, it's a game that's going to make a Giants fan like me probably sick to my stomach for a little while. Could be another fourth quarter comeback for Eli to win this one.